Hello everyone, this is GD back again. Uh, Sorry guys, it took a little bit longer time for me to upload this video. I know I've not uploaded any videos from last 2 weeks or so. I was a little bit occupied and busy. But today I want to give an analysis on the stock called Pinterest. Its ticker symbol is PINS, PINS. If you're using social media and if you would have gone and shopped anything from Pinterest, you already know what this business is about. But I'm going to share my analysis with this stock today. I feel this stock is way undervalued compared to some of the other social media stocks like Twitter and Snap. And I'll get to that. I have written down all the triggers that are needed for this talk, and we can discuss about that. So first of all, what does Pinterest do? It's a pretty simple business. If you they have this website called Pinterest, and one of the things I like about it is it's a #1 app in App Store in the lifestyle category. So what I've seen is whenever any app is rated #1 in the App Store in this category, right, it has been a big winner. So if you look at the financials of finance, Square app is #1, PayPal is #2 or 3, I think. So Square stock, if you have seen, right, it's triple from the low of $45 in this pandemic, and it's just kind of $120 right now. So what I've seen is any app in its category #1 has done really well, and I mean there is a reason it's #1, right? Because it has been getting attention of the users. People are liking it, and the rating of Pinterest app in App Store is like 4.5 to 5. It's a very highly rated app, and I have used it personally. I have Pinterest account. My wife has it, and it's just amazing. If you go and download it on mobile. It's one of the best apps I have ever seen on of any social media. It's one of the very catchy app. So what it does is you can search for anything that you like. Let's say you search for Ganesha art. You like anything, then you can pin it. You can save this pin, and then share it with anybody. And that way it gets popular. So basically users themselves make it popular. And what happens is so all the other companies which want to promote their products on this will come, like so Domino's Pizza, right, has given an ad. So when any user clicks on this Domino's and goes there and buys Domino's Pizza, Pinterest gets a cut out of it, because it's like Google, right? Google, you search anything, Google pays for the the companies pay Google for the ad. Same concept here. So that's the way Pinterest makes money. But it's more of a how it is different from other apps is more of a user engagement app. Twitter will have promoted tweets. Facebook has its own ads, or local ads and local area ads and all. Here it's more of a user engagement. That's why I like this concept. That's more of a user engagement. You can come and search for the products you want. Let's say wall decor, and then various people will just put their the paintings and everything, and then once you click on that, you go to their website and then buy from there. Again, Pinterest gets a cut out of it. So it's a pretty good business. It's very engaging business. And one of the other parts I want to explain is that 60% of the user who come to Pinterest, right, ended up buying. That's a very high conversion rate. So you come and search for something, and 60 percent means 60 people out of 100 ends up buying the thing. So which is very good for Pinterest business, because that's where they are going to make money. If people are coming, 100 people are coming, only 10 people end up buying, they are not going to get that much of advertisement revenue. So they will not make money in that case. But in this case, they have been consistently going above 60% of conversion, which is, I think, pretty good for this business. So a little bit of Pinterest. Its IPO came, I think, a couple of years back. and it was at $19. Right now the stock is at $26, so it hasn't moved much. In fact, actually it went down in this pandemic. It went down to $18, I think, and then it moved back up again, $25, $26. Let's go through some triggers. So growing online shopping is a trigger, right? I mean, as everybody knows, everybody working from home, people want to buy stuffs online, and that's where, Etsy is also getting very popular. I have made its video on Etsy. Please go and look at that. I'll put a link in this video. And the Etsy stock, when I recommended, or when I bought, it was like $75. Today it is $110. So it's the online growth is catching up, and Pinterest is definitely one of the biggest beneficiary of that. The second is monetization of $3 per user. This is very important. So I follow a guru called Bill Nigren. He's one of the very good value investor I have ever seen. He's a value plus growth investor. So he's bought Pinterest. There's a video on CNBC. You can go and watch. It's just for CNBC Pro users, so you need to have a subscription of CNBC. So it's a so the anchor asked him, why are you buying the stock like Pinterest? It's not a value investor stock. It's not making money right now. So why are you ending up buying such a stock where there are no earnings? It's kind of losing money right now. So he explained it very well. So this is where something where the investor research comes into picture, right? This stock is something which is not obvious to on the paper. So I also have the analysis done, one other video where you need to look at ROE, you need to look at cash flow. So cash flow is increasing for Pinterest, ROE is not, ROE is in negative. So this is something which is not obvious to an investor, when you look at it first. But then you investing is all about future. You gotta look at future. So in the past, obviously the Pinterest has spent a lot of money in advertising and growing its products internationally as well, and US as well. So that's why it has lost money. But in future, how does it look like, right? So what he mentioned is monetization of Pinterest is $3 per user. And Twitter's monetization is $15 per user. Snap's is $25 per user. So it's a pretty underpenetrated, because imagine 60% of the user end up buying. I don't think that's the case for Twitter. So and Bill Nigren mentioned that they can easily reach this $15 per user mark for Pinterest, in next few years, 4 to 5 years, right? So if that happens, right, it's a 5x growth. So imagine, then the company will be profitable. So the other thing, and I'll do the calculation, why I feel that it's going to be multi-bagger stock, and it's going to triple in next 5 years. I will show the calculation on that. So daily active users on Pinterest is growing 30% year over year. Show me the social media company where this kind of growth is there for consistently last 5 years. In Q1 2016 it was 128 million users. In Q1 2020 it is like 3 times, 360 million users. So it's growing 30% year, and the high user base is a moat, right? I mean, if you see Facebook, it's 2 billion users. Alibaba is 800 million users. So look at their valuation. It's 600, 700 billion. And look at Pinterest valuation, 15 billion. I mean, I'm not saying that Alibaba and Facebook has a lot of advertisement, and so I'm not saying it should go to 600 billion, but 15 billion is very less for this kind of stock, where it can monetize like Twitter. So, if I take an example, right, it's pretty clear that, let's say it's 360 million, let's say it grows this user base very modestly, very modestly. In 4 or 5 years, it goes to 400 million, which is, I don't think it's going to happen. Like, if they have grown 30% year over year, it's not going to happen that in 5 years they are going to just grow 10%. At least they are going to grow 10% per year, which is also, I think I'm taking a bear case. But still, let's say 400 million users, So 400 million users, let's say they go to $15. So how much is 400 million into 15 into 400 million is like $6 billion. So $6 billion, right? Twitter's margin is, I'll show you the Twitter's margin. Twitter margin is 35%. So let's say they make, on 6 billion. So I'll just put down for the benefit of the users, everybody. So into $15, right? So it is around 6 billion, right? And then you consider 35% margin on that. So roughly this will come to like six. Let's take a round figure of, and the lower side, 2 billion profit. So if it is going to be 2 billion profit, it's not going to trade at 15 billion. It's a social media company. It's not some retail company. Having physical stores like Macy's and Kohl's. It's online technology growth advertisement company. And if we look at the valuation of some of these companies, at least we need to give that 20 PE. So if you give a 20 PE to this kind of stock, Twitter and all other stocks like Facebook trading at 25 PE, Snap is not even there. It's again losing money. But let's say it's 20, right? So into 20 is how much? It's like 40 billion. The market cap need to be 40 billion. Today the market cap is 15 billion. So it's going to go 3 times. And I'm considering this as a very, very modest scenario. What if you make this 500 million? It is easily possible because they are growing internationally very well. Their main growth is coming from international. So if this is the case, then this goes to 7.5 billion. And then this goes to another 3 billion. So what I'm trying to understand, trying to convey you is, it's growing its user base and it's going to grow its profit. So $75 is, I think it's going to be easily achievable in next 5 years. Now I'm not saying 2-3 years, I'm saying 5 years. It has to it has to mature, it has to find its way from $3 to $15, but it's going to happen. It's going to happen. Because it's a user engagement tool, and if you have a 60% more than conversion rate, it definitely is going to win. So one other thing I want to point it out is niche user base it has. So mainly the people who are coming on this ride is women from 20 to 45 or 50. They end up buying, and they end up buying a lot of stuff like home decor and some of the decoration stuff and so many things. So that's the user base. But I have read, I don't have a link right now, but what I have read is they are increasing the men population also, like they are increasing the men users also, not population, sorry, men users also. So it's catching up on that front as well. So that's where so Peter Thiel, right? If you read his book 0 to 1, he says all the companies which are successful start with a smaller product, like smaller niche, and then they scale up. So look at the example of Amazon. It started as a bookstore, right? It's a bookstore, online bookstore, and see how they have scaled up. Then you look at Google. Google started with search engine, very small niche market, and then it grew its profit from there, and then that made a cash machine, and then they invested other ways. Pinterest, as we see, has a lot of opportunities. It can, if you have the user coming on a platform, if you're number one app in lifestyle is such a big market, so it will capture it. It's just that a part of the execution that that needs to happen. So it can be a takeover target also, because let's say anybody, Amazon can take it over, or Google can take it over, or Etsy can take it over. It matches with Etsy's niche product also, right? As I explained in my video. So it has a lot of tailwinds, I would say, than headwinds. The headwind part is a little bit of a management execution part, and I think it's going to happen. It's going to take time. The two founders are visionary. They have worked in Google and Facebook before 10 years back, and they are visionary. So it's going to happen. It's just a matter of time. It happens in 2-3 years, 5 years, or 7 years. But you need to take a long-term horizon. So Pinterest also very niche market, niche product. A very concentrated user base, but it will scale up. So that's where you need to start with. So, and the other thing, the last thing I want to point out is high international growth. So the international growth has been very high for Pinterest than the US growth, which is good also, because what happens is when you grow internationally, you have a big market to come after, right? Like Facebook has a lot of users in India, so Pinterest can grow in India, and they will get a lot of market share. So 500 million I feel is very, very achievable, and it is going to happen just in a matter of time, 5 or 6 years. So that's about the notes. So Bill Nigran, I was mentioning Bill Nigran, right? So Bill Nigran interview, I think over here. So $15 is when he pitched the stock. So he's made money on this already when it was $15, and it was no brainer that time. He explained this in that CNBC video that $15 it had like $3 cash. So eventually he was buying like $12. So it's and it doesn't have debt. So if you have cash and no debt, as Peter Lynch says, you can't go bankrupt if you have cash and no debt. So I think there's no kind of doubt that it's going to go bankrupt. Not for sure. It can be a takeover target, but it can grow on its own also, like very much. So you can read this article, right? Like why Pinterest has more than 300 million users from around the world. The company's early days of monetizing a platform. We believe shares are currently trading at a material discount to the company's intrinsic value, margin potential against more mature internet companies. So that's what I mentioned, right? Against Twitter, and it's trading at a big discount. Then if you see Pinterest monthly users, look at this: 128 million in Q1 16, 367 million in Q1 20. I mean, look at this growth. It's tripled in 4 years, around 30% growth year over year. It's just amazing, Coming to the valuation, as I said, this is not the company where it's going to catch your eye immediately. Even I looked at this company many times before, and then but I was thinking, oh no, it's not giving ROE and all. But then I heard Bill's interview, and then I dig deeper, and then what I saw is it is definitely doing good. So it has a cash of 1.74 billion, debt of 115 million. So it's out of 15 billion, it's already having a cash of 10%. So 25. So $2.5, $3 worth of cash it already has, and it's growing its free cash flow. So if you see, right, last quarter, right, you need to pick the stocks where it's just catching up, right? It's just starting its journey to the positive trend. So if you see this, right, annual cash flow will be negative if you see, but if you see quarterly, right, last quarter they had a positive cash flow. So look at this, they had negative 57 million, then negative million, negative 3 million, but now positive 50 million. So it's increasing towards positive side, so that's where you need to catch this kind of things in a niche stage. If everything is going to look good on right now on the paper, it's not going to trade at $26, it's going to trade $40, so you need to be early in this kind of stocks. So I feel because of this reason that it can have 400 million users, it can go to $15 per user monetization in 5 years. The profit comes around 2 billion to and add, it's going to have more cash. So it has 1.75 billion already in the cash. So if you give a conservative multiple of 20, even without cash, if you add a cash, it's going to be more. Then the market cap comes to 40 billion, 45 billion. So that's why I feel $75 stock in next 5 years. Every time I make a video, I have told you guys that I'll tell whether I bought the stock or not, and I do hold the stock. Actually, I bought this stock when it went down or $22. When it went down in the market crash, I saw Bill's interview, and then I did some research on my own, and then ended up buying this stock at $22. So I am in the profit right now. How much? Like around 20% profit. I am not going to sell. I think these winners you need to ride out. You need to enter at the right cost. $26. You can wait for a market crash of not market crash. I don't think crash is going to happen, but market is going to correct definitely. It has gone up a lot. Nasdaq has gone up a lot. I think it's going to correct 10-20%. For sure. I feel the Nasdaq is going to correct 10%, 15% for sure, and the Pinterest will fall along with that. So let's say if it falls to $22 range, I would say that it's a very good buy. I am not a financial advisor, so you guys please do your own research as well, and then take a call. but I'm just letting you know my cost basis. It is like $22 per share, and I plan to hold it for next 3 years, 5 years at least. I will see how it performs for next 3 years. But I am not going to sell a single share before 3 years. I want to ride it out 5 years. I am pretty sure it's going to go to $50 plus, if in 3 years, or $75 plus in the 5 years time frame. One last thing, guys. As you know, I am kind of putting a lot of effort. I mentioned this in my video, doing this research, listening to this geniuses like Bill Nigran, then doing my extensive research. I request you guys to please like my videos. Please subscribe to my channel, which encourages me to make this kind of videos, share my knowledge, and help everybody. So thank you, guys.